weeks of delving into the volatile tides of Homa Bay County politics, TV47 can now present the tale of Kenya's most contentious political battlefield, Kasipul constituency, where ambition draws blood and silence serves as a strategy. Here, events unfold simultaneously. A member of parliament is gunned down, rivals remain under suspicion, and the region is gripped by fear. Was the fatal shooting of Kasipul Member of Parliament Charles Ong'ondo a political elimination or the climax of a power struggle that has been simmering for years? In Kasipul, politics isn't merely a contest, it is war. This is the Were tapes, as told by our very own Sydney Chazima.
In a nation where silence often screams louder than the truth, one name recently shattered the stillness: Ong'ondo. The Kasipul Member of Parliament was gunned down just as the night crept in along Nairobi's Ngong Road on the 1st of May this year. His death, a cold case of assassination, appears to have been a message.
He actually knew what was going to happen to him.
Wale wamtaki mama, I'm the target.
But from whom and why?
Were never stole anybody's thing. He made his own things, but he was killed like a chicken.
This is the tale of a life cut short, a case shrouded in layers of fear, power, and politics.
Welcome to Homa Bay County, the lush land of fish and farms that is nestled by Lake Victoria, but is making waves for all the wrong reasons. Politics in this county don't just simmer, they boil over into bloodshed with assassinations and attacks that have rocked the country's headlines. From MPs gunned down to deputy governors dodging bullets, Homa Bay's deadly drama is a stark reminder that politics in this county isn't just a game, it is a gamble with lives on the line.
The late Ong'ondo story is a complex one, a mystery woven beyond the arrests of suspects in his murder and far deeper than the emotions expressed by his family and political allies. Nevertheless, three factors in this case will help bring the nation closer to the truth about who may have orchestrated his death. Kasipul is not your typical constituency. Here, local political rivalries are a daily staple on the menu for residents and politicians alike.
Unlike other surrounding constituencies, our constituency has been like a battlefield in terms of competition. It has been like we are in an election period.
With the 2027 general election fast approaching, the race for the Kasipul Member of Parliament began to heat up, tracing back to when the late Ong'ondo was declared the winner in the 2022 polls. Several aspirants have laid claim to Kasipul's hot seat.
I told Were several times, even if I'm going to vie for the same position, I will request you to go up so that place remain vacant for me.
However, it is the name of Philip Aroko that stands out, making him a person of interest. Consequently, Aroko was immediately included in the growing list of suspects in Were's death.
We were planning to have election in 2027, peaceful election. And I even told the late that I would want to beat him in a fair election, okay? But now I'm called, I'm surprised to be called about, about the murder of the MP. I'm not partisan. I cannot be a part of that kind of life.
Aroko has been described as Were's fiercest competitor, and as a testament to this, Were is said to have spent more time in his constituency before his fatal shooting in order to counter Aroko's influence.
My name is Philip Aroko. I'm an aspirant.
Philip Aroko has been moving on the ground in a manner that is really having a lot of impact. To the extent that what is on the ground, according to realities, is that there has been we have an election scenario on the ground.
So we are urging our people that we must vote.
Where the MP is busy also working on his re-election bid, and Philip Aroko has also been on the ground pushing his agenda for his election come 2027.
This party must carry elections, nominations of the party. We are not going to have appointment in this constituency. Maybe it will happen somewhere else, but not in Kasipul.
When political competition turns cutthroat and fierce,
Even for example, if one is an aspirant, unajua mtu anataka kiti. Si ukuje tu nyemelea watu hivi utapewa. Lakini ukikuja na fujo tutakupea.
It invariably manifests in ego battles.
And if you think you have come with a strategy to destroy the name of this executive and prestigious constituency, you have knocked the wrong door.
Which ultimately lead to one outcome: violence.
This story about painting people, tainting people's names so that they get bad in the ballot box when time comes for election is a thing of the past. Okay? These are things that we're not going to let go.
Ong'ondo is killing our people. He has decided.
Violence emerged as a constant feature in Kasipul's local politics, with funerals becoming the primary arena for political rivalries.
Aroko and Mheshimiwa Were had been having some rough politics, which I don't even know why. Sometimes you see it was the fault of the MP, and sometimes when you check it again, you find it's the fault of the other opponent.
Unapata kama mtu akienda kuomboleza kwa matanga, anaomba kimoyomoyo kwamba mheshimiwa asikuje, kwa sababu akikuja eda matanga itaharibika ama wengine wataumizwa.
It has been tense because a number of people whom I cannot get their numbers right have been maimed, have suffered.
When you make a bed out of blades, it is bound to cut and injure. The Kasipul political rivalry was the bed, and the residents took their fair share of cuts and injuries.
There are times that you cannot advise God, but I can advise God that if people are resting in peace, let Ong'ondo not sleep in peace. Better with the Ong'ondo even at the resting point.
Mimi in person nimerekodi statement kwa sababu huyo jamaa alikuwa amenifuata. Ilikuwa ni uwe tarehe mosi. So wakaona is a allegation, nikaripoti hapo Yugis na CCIO akanipigia. Sijui alikuwa anaitwa Bisheru. The CCIO County Criminal Investigation Officer. Nikarekodi statement yangu. Hizo vitu zangu alirarua.
Duncan Omondi's case is not unique. Many who have fallen victim to Were and Aroko's political style bear the scars and stitches of pain and anguish. However, more blame has been placed on the late Were, whose brand of politics was characterized by the slogan, "See no rival, hear no rival."
We want to look forward to a leader who will not be toxic in the manner in which they play politics. We want to look forward to a leader who will play politics of ideas, where people will use their brain to reason, not being thoracic, not being violent, not having a domineering attitude.
The victims still feel bitter.
What I think is that I'm happy that he's dead. I would wish him to die again.
Some even claim that Oyugis, the main town in Kasipul, was not as profoundly shocked and affected by Were's death.
What is there, Sydney? You know, they were saying, how come, hey, this is the turnout. And people were saying that this man was not loved. Why do you pay people money? Why do you mobilize all buses to carry people for free? But if that is not a justification that it truly was not that loved as you claim, how come there was no protest? Kill any businessman here brutally, people will protest. Kill any border person here, there will be protest. What do you expect of a member of parliament who is serving his second term and has not been an absentee member of parliament? He's been in the constituency virtually every week and every weekend. Yes. And then he's killed, and it is like somebody has scored on your behalf. You wanted to score.
It wasn't mobilized. Let me just say this. As the area MCA of this town, I know when we mobilize people, and I know when people came out to receive the body of their hero. It wasn't mobilized because that magnitude, you don't know how to mobilize that magnitude that came outside. Yeah, so they're wrong. They're wrong on this.
The complexities surrounding the violent nature of politics make it difficult to identify those who may have dispatched a shooter in retaliation.
He actually knew what was going to happen to him. Because when he was celebrating the Pinyeluo earlier this year, we went to a function, and after the function was over, Ong'ondo came and he jumped in my car and told me that there's some people who are following me here. He just came in and squeezed himself into my car and told me there's some people here with bad intentions. I'm not going to tell you now, but I will tell you later on. So these people have been trailing Ong'ondo for a long time. And there were people who are known. Ong'ondo knew them.
Sasa mimi mwenyewe siwezi kujua mtu ambaye amemuua. Lakini sasa wameleta watu wengi. Sasa I'm confused. CCTV kamera inasema ni mtu mmoja na pikipiki, mwingine sijui ameshikwa, mwingine akashikwa, mwingine akashikwa. Unajiuliza huyu jamaa means kwamba inaoneshana dhihirisho wazi kwamba alikuwa na adui chungu nzima. Hakukuwa na marafiki. Marafiki wake ni wale ambao wametokezana na kusema kwamba Roko lazima ashikwe. Na ukiuliza anashikwa kwa nini? Hata anafanyiwa upelelezi. So hii kifo chake huwezi direct kwa mtu. Kwa sababu hata yeye mwenyewe akifufuka saa hii umuulize nani amekuwa ajui, kwa sababu alikuwa na watu chungu mzima ambao ni wadui yake.
Aroko was detained by the police and later released on a 300,000 shilling bond, whereas driver has so far been turned into a state witness. However, not far from Aroko's case is another factor that locals claim might have played a significant role in the fatal shooting of Were. In Homa Bay County, a geographical area known to locals as the Greater Rachuonyo district exists, comprising 3 constituencies: Kasipul, Kabondo, and Rachuonyo. According to data from the IEBC portal, the number of registered voters in Kasipul is 67,513. Kabondo Kasipul has 59,910, while Rachuonyo leads with 94,181 voters. However, despite Rachuonyo's high number of voters, it is Kasipul that is said to be the seat of power of the Greater Rachuonyo district.
I know the politics in our region, and it is about the Greater Rachuonyo. The Greater Rachuonyo comprises of Kasipul, it comprises of Rachuonyo, then it comprises of, the third part of it is Kabondo Kasipul. That is the backbone of Homa Bay County.
Now, pay close attention as I explain how the politics surrounding the Greater Rachuonyo district may have been a key factor in the investigations into Were's fatal shooting. The Kasipul constituency was previously known as Kasipul Kabondo, but it was later split into 2, giving birth to Kasipul and Kabondo Kasipul. According to data from the IEBC, Prior to the split, Kasipul Kabondo would have 127,423 registered voters, compared to Rachuonyo's 94,181. Thus, mathematically, Kasipul Kabondo emerged as the seat of power of the Greater Rachuonyo district.
Because you remember that it is only Kasipul that was holding the Greater Kasipul, Kabondo Kasipul. Yes. So Kabondo came later on from Kasipul. So whatever Kasipul is going to decide can influence whatever the Greater Rachuonyo can, the way that Greater Rachuonyo can go and vote.
After the split, Kasipul stepped up, producing highly vocal leaders who commanded significantly more following and influence than their counterparts from Kabondo Kasipul and Rachuonyo.
We have a repertoire of professionals in this constituency. They are there. I've also told you that we have so many people in this constituency who can make leaders.
From the late Peter Oridi, Paddy Ahenda, the current Deputy Governor of Homa Bay, Oyugi Magwanga, and now the late Charles Ong'ondo Were. With such leaders and their influence, it became increasingly evident that whoever controls the Greater Rachuonyo district has a significant impact on who becomes the governor of Homa Bay County.
So we cannot wish away Kasipul because it is a deciding factor.
I respect the governor.
To bring this closer to home, the late Ong'ondo Were and the current Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga, as locals say, were inseparable.
Yeye ndio ni kama umbu ambaye alikuwa kwa lango la governor.
This may explain why Wanga was very emotional moments after Were's fatal shooting.
Were never stole anybody's thing. He made his own things, but he was killed like a chicken.
I refer you back to the assertion that whoever controls the Greater Rachuonyo district has significant influence on who ultimately becomes the governor of Homa Bay County. And this is where the relationship between Were and Wanga was written in the stars of Homa Bay's political sphere.
Honorable Were was a very strong supporter of the county government of Homa Bay. Honorable Were was the first MP in this county to endorse the leadership of Her Excellency the Governor, Gladys Wanga, when others could not come out strongly to do. Honorable Were persuaded us as people of Kasipul to vote for her. So he was a leader of influence.
Alikuwa mwandani sana wa governor. Na governor vile alikuja, alilia kabisa hadi watu wakaanza kujiuliza kwamba is it a working relationship ama jamaa kuna biashara ambayo watu hawajui ndani.
Definitely, if you lose somebody who has believed in your leadership, believed in your government, has supported you all this time, you have a reason to be emotional, because that is human. Yeah, because you have lost one of your foot soldiers. Yeah.
From the statements made by interviewees, it is evident that Charles Ong'ondo Were served as a reliable pointman for Wanga within the seat of power in the Greater Rachuonyo district. However, this arrangement came at a cost. Close to Governor Wanga is her deputy Oyugi Magwanga, who previously served as MP for Kasipul.
All I know about the man in question in the name of the deputy governor is that he's a grassroots mobilizer. He has a stronghold politically. He is a force to reckon with in the county, as well as even in the constituency of Kasipul, where he hails from.
Every person who has gone to the ballot and have been voted in, they hold some influence. But DG as a person, for now I cannot say that he holds any influence in Kasipul or Kasipul sub-county, because he went county-wide.
According to sources close to the county's top leadership, there is a simmering difference between Wanga and Magwanga.
I only hear it from the media that I'm about to resign. Again, I'm about to be impeached. And these ones have been actually flying. And if that is the position, then I'm also waiting to hear when I'll be impeached.
And even though the issue has been downplayed by allies of the governor,
I happen to be at the leadership of County Assembly as Speaker 2 and Speaker Panelist 2. And I can confirm that there is nowhere that the issue of DG has been discussed in this current County Assembly.
Locals involved in ODM party grassroots politics say otherwise.
Governor akikuja Kasipul mara nyingi alikuwa anatumia Ong'ondo Were ambaye ni MP ya Kasipul na naibu wake pia anatoka hapa. Sasa ungepata kama wanatembea wote pamoja na function ambaye amekuja na MP ya Kasipul wakwae na naibu yake. Na MP anazungumza vibaya sana kuhusu yeye. Sasa watu wanaona kana kwamba governor ndio anataka kuzungumza vibaya kwa naibu wake, bali hataki itoke kwa domo lake, ameambia huyu.
After the fatal shooting of Were, critics have questioned Governor Wanga's silence as a deputy was further dragged down the path of humiliation during the late Were's funeral.
There was a plan for me to be attacked, and that is why I did try to avoid the funeral. And this, I even conveyed the message to some key people that I would not attend because of the threats.
If your deputy does not come to a funeral, how do you feel if you're the governor? That's a question that we need to take to the bank. Then number 2, apart from this, if your deputy sent money to a funeral where you are friendly, and they send back this money to your deputy, you need to ask why. Because you have the power to stop those kind of nonsense.
Oyugi Magwanga was a formidable candidate for the gubernatorial seat in Homa Bay. It necessitated the intervention of Raila Odinga to bring him to a compromise.
Magwanga supported Gladys Wanga to be a women rep. He repeated to do so. He accepted to be a deputy governor while he was the best competitor. In fact, he was winning. That's why the ODM came together and called for peace.
Sources who feared victimization and could not speak on camera claim that due to the frustrations he has faced, Magwanga has set his sights on running for the Homa Bay County's top seat in 2027. I refer back to the assertion once again that whoever controls the Greater Rachuonyo district has significant influence on who becomes the governor of Homa Bay County. Kasipul, once again, became the most common denominator. The tussle for its control came alive, and amid the sibling rivalry in ODM, Aroko allegedly gained ground, resulting in violent battles for the Kasipul seat of power.
I come from Kasipul, which is a backbone of Homa Bay County. So anybody strong who wants to come up is getting intimidated.
Wale wanalete shida hapa Kasipul wakai hapa.
In this particular soundbite, the late Were spoke figuratively about the barking dog and its owner, referring to the violent goons as the barking dog.
Kwa hivyo nataka polisi wafanye kazi. Watafute mwenye umbwa, si umbwa.
After the barking dog reference, Were proceeded to label Aroko as hii mukora nyinyi nasikia hapa. He further claimed that the owner of the dogs, which in this case were the goons, was among them and not Aroko.
Na mwenye umbwa si mukora hii nyinyi unasikia hapa. Coordinator is part of us.
It is from this point that Were sensationally claimed that those who wanted to get rid of Wanga in the 2027 ballot box had to get to him first.
Mwizi akitaka kukuja kutoa kwa nyumba anamalizana na watchman. Kwanza wale wabtaki mama, I'm the target.
Now, there are 3 events that are somewhat linked to one another that checked out in our occurrence book after the fatal shooting of the late Charles Ong'ondo Were. This is one.
I saw the governor pushing so much for me to be called here. She's even making calls to the police for me to be called here to make a statement. She has achieved it now. But if she has something that she's sure about, then she has to push for me to come here.
We have seen the investigations going on, and we want to just say that we allow the investigating agencies to conclude their investigations, and I've seen some people dragging others into it. As Governor of Homa Bay, I have no responsibility, I have no role on the investigation.
This is 2.
In light of the office I hold and the increasingly worrisome trend of political violence, especially the targeting of leaders in Kasipul constituency, this attack is not only alarming but deeply troubling.
Before we list occurrence number 3, could there be any link between the attempted assassination of Deputy Governor Magwanga and the tussle for the control of the Greater Rachuonyo district?
The same day there were some rumors of impeaching Magwanga because he did not attend the funeral of Mheshimiwa Were, which he was told not to attend, and he sent even his contribution, and his contribution was sent back to him, 20,000 shillings.
So if somebody may have an interest, and that person may feel like whatever his interest may not go through because of an imagination that the deputy governor may stand his on her way, then those are possibilities.
There is no place we've discussed any attempt to maybe impeach the DG. It is not there. It is a creation of the media. As Homa Bay County Assembly, Homa Bay County Government, we are working together. We have no squabbles.
To occurrence number 3. The speed at which Charles Ong'ondo Were's son was thrust into the limelight and deemed a potential replacement for his father has raised eyebrows.
Mwili bado inaendezwa kwa lami. Watu wamefika Kindobe. Kijana yake ameshatolewa kwa gari. Hata kijana yake mwenyewe, the family, achana na sisi ambayo tulikuwa tumelipwa kulia. Kijana wake ametoka kwa gari, aombolezi, anasema ODM.
Joturwa untie. Jokazipul untie.
Tuko tayari ODM, Ongeringo, ODM, Pindra. Huyu ni kijana wa marehemu ambaye baba yake ndiye anazikwa. Unataka kutudanganya kwamba sisi tulikuwa tunaomboleza na kijana yake, mtoto yake ndiye ako na furaha yako kwa siasa?
Caught in the eye of the storm of accusations is the county CEO Gladys Wanga, whom critics accuse of harboring ambitions to install Boyd Were, the son of the late Were, as the next MP for Kasipul.
But the problem is, the national chair already has taken a side in this.
Jumamosi, kijana wa Were ameanza kupeana mnaitanga hii rambirambi, hii pesa ambayo watu wanawekanga kwa mabesheni. Ameanza kugawa hapo Yugis. Saturday, na baba yako amezikwa jana. Kufikia Sunday, umetoka na governor tumunenda kukampeni kwa kanisa ya Katoliki.
Ni kijana wenu akikuja kuwatembelea, tafadhali naomba kama mama mumfungulie mlango, mumkaribishe huyo mtoto.
Kama anasema nitasimama na nyinyi kufanya nini?
Watu wote wanakubaliwa ambao wanataka kutafuta kiti, watafute kiti.
According to locals, there is a prevailing belief that the county leadership is considerably invested in the Kasipul succession, as this will give them an advantage in determining who controls the Greater Rachuonyo district.
I've seen a move that indicates like they are making preference to his son. Whoever is doing that has a right to do so. But the other side of it, you are doing it against a vibrancy that was already moving against the incumbent. So it is not healthy to push a candidate down the throat of the electorate.
Governor, as the governor, is our political leader, and whatever we are doing, we are up to is to collect the views of the public, like public participation. It is the public to decide whom or the path that the party should follow.
First of all, as a family, we are not intimidated. We can't be intimidated. Mzee was a fearless person, and what I'm sure of, he never raised a coward.
Kama mwenyekiti wa chama, Mimi sina uegemeo wowote. Wanachama wa Kasipul wako na nafasi ya kusema vile wanafikiria, na wengine pia wako na nafasi ya kusema vile wanafikiria. Chama wakileta candidate, tutakuwa hapo.
We now close the pages of these three events in our occurrence book. The turbulent waves that have shaken the political shape in Homa Bay are said to revolve around the neck-breaking politics in Kasipul constituency. And as the government dives deeper into resolving the fatal shooting of the late Charles Were, locals are calling on the political class to put their house in order.
So the politics of Homa Bay is being generated with the politicians. They themselves.
We have a leader here who is taking side. This leader is purporting to love two constituencies than the rest. It is not the entire county. We have only two constituencies, Ndewa and Kasipul.
Ndewa constituency is another one, where people are just cutting each other with pointers in the name of politicians.
Let's speak the truth. We need peace in Kasipul constituency and we need peace in Ndewa constituency. Because 90% of those who are living in Kasipul does not need this chaos.
We don't want it. It is not worth it. Don't take lives of our people because of a political seat.
Tuko na team of professionals wajaongea kuhusu nani wanataka kwamba wamlead. Tuko na team ya businessmen, tuko na team ya wale ambaye wanasiasa, kwa sababu tukienda jinsi ambaye gavana anataka kwamba lazima tupee huyu mtoto wa Were na hata mtoto wa Jode ya kupewa. So ombi langu ni kwamba watupee watu ya Kasipul, kwa sababu Kasipul ndi inakaa kama thermometer ya kupima siasa ya Homa Bay.
The youth who have been turned into killing and maiming machines by the politicians in Homa Bay have also been put on notice.
You know, our youth are being governed by tokenism and leftovers. Whoever is available for tokenism and leftovers must also be ready to be available for misuse.
So our youths, I'm just pleading to them to look for something better to do and again to think about the future tomorrow. When their children will grow, when their grandchildren will grow, how will they want to address those issues when their time will be right?
Family and political allies of the late Were are calling for peace, even as all parties in the county strive to find closure in one of the most brutal and polarizing deaths.
Let the dead rest. Let the dead rest.
In law, you don't accuse somebody when he has died, because dead men tell no tales.
Hakuna mtu anafaa kupoteza maisha yake ama kumwaga damu yoyote kwa sababu yoyote. Tukue na amani, tuzungumze tu na tushindane kwa maneno, si kwa visu na panga na bunduki.
Tunaomba serikali ya William Ruto, the familia of Were, children of Mheshimiwa Were, the wives of Mheshimiwa Were, we want justice.
Let's continue to maintain peace. Let's embrace everybody. Those who are hurting, let's have a heart of forgiveness so that we move forward as a constituency.
We must build a tolerant society where people can disagree, but then shake hands at the end of it.
As the government and criminal justice system continue in their bid to unravel the Ong'ondo Were death mystery, key issues stand out, indicating that Kasipul is a significant player in Homa Bay's politics. The struggle for its control has turned bloody, with casualties spanning from the common Wananchi to the political bigwigs, although the alleged accomplices and executioners of Were's death may be in police custody. All indications regarding who the real puppet masters of these accomplices and executioners points to one thing: the political maneuvering by Homa Bay County's unlikely political allies. Sydney Chazima for TV47, Nairobi.